Do you remember the Ankara shoe season? I was part of that season. Hello there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mercy Kialo and I'm so glad to have you here. So many of you have been asking me, how did you start your business? How did you do this? How did you do that? And I thought the best way to introduce myself and to introduce that side of my life would be to take you down my memory lane and tell you about businesses I started and how just generally my love for business actually brewed. So welcome. So I'm in Form 2 during my holidays and we visit my mom's friend after a Jumuiya. And we are having tea and I'm thinking, you know, what a beautiful home, and she has a farm. I mean, you know, I'm just there, I'm literally a handbag to my mom. And then she starts, the friend starts talking to me and telling me like, oh, you know, this is what I do for a living. I'm a small scale farmer. I grow this and I grow that, and I was so interested. And she says, this is actually how I make my living. She shows me her beautiful broccoli farm and I was in love. And let me tell you, growing up, seeing broccoli on Cartoon Network, you just want to eat that. And at that time, you know, kids used to say, broccoli is bad on TV, but you're like, it looks good than skuma wiki or the cabbage we are eating. And so I thought, wow, you know what? I'm actually going to challenge myself and grow this. So we go back home and I talk to my mom all the way back home. I'm telling her how I'm going to start this broccoli farm, and she's like, you know what, just do what you want to do. There's space out there, outside our home, there's space you can actually just plant. And you know what, I was like, exactly, my first investor. I got seeds, I got is it a hoe? I got a hoe and someone who came and helped me. We planted and I was so happy. So after planting, I obviously knew I needed to get somewhere to take them. So I started my rounds of finding, you know, supermarkets that would take up my broccolis after they're ready. And then I realized actually you don't go straight to the supermarket. There's a middleman. There's just a whole business around that. So I went and I remember going to Fresh and Juicy in the industrial area, and then I introduced myself and I said, look, I'm a broccoli farmer and in about 2 or 3 months I'm expecting my produce, and so look, I can give you this at a very good deal. And we spoke and we sealed the deal and I was well on my way. So with an expectant heart, I think after 2 or 3 weeks, we experienced a raid. I don't know what to call them, but then my plants were raided by some pests, so we had to take care of that. That was terrible. And then after a month, like the produce, my harvest time, it was horrible. Nothing. I literally could harvest nothing. And you know, the middlemen give you a threshold as to in kilograms what should be for every cabbage. Can I call them every cabbage? Every head. So nothing could meet the threshold, and I was so discouraged. And at home we ate so much broccoli. There was no buying anything else. My mom was just like, bring those here, we are gonna eat these. And that's just how that ended. But during that process I realized something. A business lesson I learned through that process was that, you know, do something you know about, do something you're knowledgeable on, so that you're able to know what to do and where. And if you don't have the knowledge, you'd rather do your research or work with somebody who does. So business number 2. Now I'm excited about this one. I'm more knowledgeable about this one. I'm growing into a good businesswoman. This is Form 3. So my escapades land me on hotel supplies, and I'm like, what is this hotel supplies? You know those small bottles of shampoo and soaps you get at hotels when you sleep there? Those. I landed on a manufacturer and I was like, actually I can walk to all the hotels in this country and outside and make sure I'm supplying them. So in short, I wanted to be the middleman. And luckily, I actually went around my hometown, Ongata Rongai, and got a new, at the time it was a new hotel, and I told them I'd do that, and they gave me an order. So I took my order, I think it was for 30 pieces or for 50, I'm not sure, of soap. the small soaps, and then I go, I buy them. Actually, I do remember, if I'm not wrong, my brother dropped me there and dropped me back because it was a whole box and I couldn't really go with Matatu, another thing. But anyway, I deliver. And they're so excited, they're so happy, and they tell me, you know what, after 2 days, we'll call you for your payment. So I'm so excited, and I'm like, okay, bye, job done, delivered, this is me, this is my business. Next 2 days, they don't call me, I don't hear from them. I go there, the guy is not there. You know what? A lot of monkey business. So I have my order and I show my order and they say, but madam, this is not even signed. Okay, fine. You had been requested for 50 pieces of soap, but it's not signed by anybody. So it's not like a legal document. How can we know it was real or not? Wow. Business lesson. Make sure all your documents are signed. Everything, a purchase order, which is a PO, must be signed so that you can actually claim it in case of such an issue. They never paid me. But anyway, you learn and you grow, right? One more thing I forgot to mention: when I delivered the whole box of soap, I delivered it with the manufacturer's box branding. So I'm sure that's why they never ever needed me again. So please remember that. If you're a middleman, protect your source. Now I'm in uni and I'm excited again. And so my friend Esther and I, we had been going to Isili to buy clothes basically. Everybody knows that, right? And then we saw bras and knickers that were going for so cheap. And then we decided to buy them and bring them back to school and sell to other students. So we pack them nicely, we get some good ones, good colors, and we bring them to school. We tried selling and sales were not that good. So we decided, let's actually change the time we are selling. We target the evening students. So after 5 we meet up and we walk around in classes selling them, and it was such a tough experience. Introducing yourself, I think that was my first salesman experience, saying this is what I have, and someone saying no, someone saying tomorrow, or someone be like, oh, actually I need it. It was amazing. One thing I learned about that business lesson is that get to know your market. If we were selling during the day and we weren't making any money, we need to sell and we sold during the evening and we actually made something. That was helpful for us to figure out that. Actually, I remember we ended up trying to make lingerie after we discovered there was a need, and it didn't end up so well because we didn't have the right fundi. And I can try pull up some pictures maybe if we find of that shoot for that lingerie. But anyway, we had fun and I loved it. Do you remember the Ankara shoe season? I was part of that season. I was one of the people who were actually making the Ankara shoes. So I just had gotten introduced to the Ankara shoes by a friend of a friend, and I was amazed. I think I remember entering Karioko and being so happy that actually things are made here locally. Yes, I was a bit old and I should have known that earlier. But then I just realized there were people making things out of tires, people making shoes, school shoes that look like butter, some shoes, everything, interesting thing, bags. I fell in love with Karioko, by the way. I felt like my spirit really was at home, right, amongst makers. Anyway, so I meet this guy and we make shoes with him, and then I start selling the Ankara shoes, and then people start complaining to me, my friends, like, oh, you know, the shoe doesn't remain steady. Let me put this down. I use my hands a lot. The shoe doesn't remain steady. It just collapses after some time, and I knew it because I had also worn the shoe and I knew what the problem was, and with the cost I was selling it at, it wasn't really worth it. So that really discouraged me, obviously. So I asked the cobbler, so how do we make this a good quality shoe? Because I'm tired of selling shoes that are not, you know, good for customers, and customers keep complaining. And he says, actually, if you really want to have good shoes, and the best material for shoes is leather. So I asked him, okay, so what's leather really? And he explains to me leather is hide, and he just gives me a good proper explanation, and I'm like, oh yes, so I've seen leather tables, I've seen leather what? And I'm like, yes. So yes, if we want to make good shoes, then let's make it with leather. Then he says, actually leather is a bit too expensive. That's why here, unless you really want to sell the shoes super expensively, it's impossible. So I start to try and understand what leather is, and you know what happens? I make my first full leather shoes, no Ankara. And they were great, but they still didn't look so good. They still were too heavy. I mean, it still quite didn't look like the shop one. You know, there was just something about it. And then I was told, if you really want to make really, really good shoes, you should visit TPCSI, which is an institution in Thika that teaches people how to stitch leather bags and shoes. And so I visited because I was like, you know what, I think we can do this. When I visited there, I'm telling you, big machines, bags entering here, coming out. And I was like, wait, leather bags are made here? And they looked way better. The outcome was way better. And I saw this is the kind of workmanship that we need in the shoe industry. But because the shoe industry is not ready yet, the bag industry is definitely ready.